I almost died. Okay, well, I technically didn't almost die, but I did have exams, which were pretty bad, and then I got sick with bronchitis for about a week, and I'm still actually recovering from that, so if you hear an occasional cough or sneeze, you know why. Yeah, we are back in Minecraft 1.20.5, I think? Is that what we're on? 0.21.5, something like that? I don't know. The new update is out, and we have leaves falling from the sky, which is awesome. There's some other stuff that I'd love to check out, but unfortunately, since this world was made in an older generation or in an older update, we are going to have to adventure quite a bit to go and find some of the new stuff, but we will do that presently. You may also be wondering why I don't have any armor on. You may be wondering, well, I updated the world to the new edition, and my clothes are gone. As you can see, I no longer have any diamond armor. I have no idea what happened. I just loaded in and it was gone, vanished, without a trace. So thankfully, we are quite blessed in the financial department. So I'm gonna go and craft up a new set. And unfortunately, we don't have any kind of enchantments to put on it, but at least we will have a full armor bar. All right, that's much better. Now we actually have full armor, and I still have no idea what happened to it. I really have absolutely no clue. I just logged into the world and the armor was gone, as well as the stake in my offhand for some reason. I don't know why the game decided that that was the thing that I shouldn't have with me, but either way. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and leave a comment suggesting what we should do next. That way you don't fall victim to the same kind of shenanigans that caused me to lose my armor as well as my food. So you do not want that happening to you. But the first thing we're going to be doing today is finally, we're going to be starting on the dock project. I know I've been talking about this for probably quite some time now. I'm just going to chuck this stuff out. Wait, no, I have storage downstairs. I can just use that. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, but I'm going to leave some of the stuff that we don't need right in there. Don't need those things. I will be keeping this with me, though. I'm going to be getting a whole ton of stone bricks, cobblestone, the works. That way we can start working on creating the docks. We're going to be creating those right over there. And I'm going to just kind of start with like a pretty basic outline of where this is going to be. So I think we're going to have it raised. I think there's one of the sheep that escaped. I did finish the sheep farm. I'll show you guys that later. And it's currently producing wool, which is actually very, very nice to have that just kind of going. But I think we're just going to use this natural beachfront along here. I'll probably just kind of start going from that side. And then I think we'll do like a angle, and then we'll go further that side. Not really sure the best shape to make here, or really what my options are. I'm going to see if I can't get a bigger picture view of this, and then we'll kind of figure out what shape we want to make here. The plan is quite simple. We're going to create, using the cobblestone and the stone bricks, we're going to create kind of a wall along here, just following the natural shape of the coastline here. And then what we're going to do is here and somewhere over there, we're going to have two long jetties extending out into the water. This will be a place where we can kind of fish from, launch boats. We'll probably put some small and some larger ships in the water as well. That way, we can add some life to the surrounding area. And I think that's going to be the main plan for the dock area here. And then what we'll do is obviously we'll push back the land here. We'll create like some flooring along the area here. And then we'll add a whole bunch of houses, buildings, shops, all the rest of the stuff that we're going to need, kind of making its way back towards probably around that area, probably more in that direction, maybe this direction. That way we don't hopefully run out of space to actually start building stuff. But for the most part, it's probably going to be a bit of a smaller dock. But yeah, I'm going to start just getting this stone down. I just came to get some wood to make a boat, and I realized that all of the writing on my signs has also disappeared. I'm gonna have to break these. I'm gonna have to rewrite the whole thing. Do you know how much dye and ink I used, especially the glow ink? That stuff's not cheap. Ugh, okay, well, I'm gonna have to worry about that later. For now, I just need some wood to make a quick little boat, and we can check in on our progress. Well, the back looks incredibly ugly. The front looks just a little bit better. Not by much, but a little bit. Hopefully it'll look a bit better once I get the wood railings and then also the wooden walkways in, but for now it looks like a gray mess. The beginning of the wall has expanded all the way from there, all the way to over there, and I also put in the wooden walkways, and I need to finish adding the wooden walkways over there. But once we do that, we can start bringing this all back more and then planning out where some of the actual buildings are going to go. And then I also grabbed some redstone lamps, sensors, and some spruce fences so I can add a little bit of lighting so that hopefully we can mob-proof it a little bit. I also somehow found a turtle. I have no idea how he got here, but I think he's stuck. I think I'm going to name him, and then I'm going to build him a little pond here, and he's going to stay with us and be our pet. The redstone lamps are in, and this actually helps quite a lot. I am shy quite a few, or not that many actually. I just need a handful more daylight sensors, and then we should be good. And if you guys have any name ideas for the turtle that we now apparently have, then feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I will try to find a name from there that we can give to Turtley. I don't know. We don't have a name for him yet, but yeah. I just expanded the pathway, and I only have 20 blocks left, so I had just enough to finish this part. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan out what I want to have on these sections. I also built some stairs going down, so I can actually get up and down. From here, what this is going to look like is there are going to be smaller piers jutting out into the water. There's going to be some boats, smaller ones, larger ones, and then eventually we'll probably have one sailing over to the ocean monument once we try and kind of transform that and build something with that. But here what I was going to do is I was going to plan out what I'm going to build here. I think around here I'm going to have like a warehouse or some kind of boat or shipyard. And then further along there I'll just have some market stalls with some other smaller houses. It's going to take a while. Definitely not going to finish it in this episode or probably the next episode either. But at least we can get the idea down for some of the things that we want to start working on. One of the other things that I want to do is I want to bring this out, kind of create like a curve if I can, I think. Curved, maybe. I don't know. But what I want to do is I'm going to bring Tough along the edges here. And then what we're going to do is have like a retaining wall almost. And I know this might look a little weird, but trust me, see the vision. See what I'm doing. And we're going to have this along here. And then this is going to be where I have a layer of dirt and coarse dirt kind of mixed in together just so the grass doesn't really grow. And then this is what we're going to use to connect all the way over to there. Well, maybe not all the way over to there, but we're going to connect this and use it to connect to the rest of the terrain so we can kind of cover up this big ugly mess that's going on here. And I will probably do something underneath here. I'll probably end up sticking some farms or some other redstone contraptions that I don't really want to see a whole lot of. I'll probably end up sticking those down there. That way we can keep those hidden and also kind of have this. But I think that should be a good level because that takes us to right about... Actually, let me check what level that is. It's... out up here? Can't. Let's see, this is at Y69. Perfect. And then... where does that take us to over... Ah, I fell again. Where does that take us to over there? That takes us to just about here. So this is where it will connect up. So just a tiny bit lower than the rest of this, which is perfect because that allows for some variation in the terrain. But that way I was thinking of actually having a bit more of like an open market, like with pathways, a couple of gardens, still like a bunch of houses, and to make it look a little bit more kind of like a town district area. But that way we can actually connect it to the rest of the ground and, as I said, cover up this absolute mess because there's no way I'm filling this in. I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put torches and just I'm gonna hope for the best. Added in the tough walls along the end here, and now what I want to do is I want to add a layer of dirt with all of the dirt that I have here. Hopefully it's enough. If not, then I'll just have to take a break to gather some more. But I want to see if I can't get in a good layer of dirt around here so we can at least get an idea of how much more we're going to need to connect it to there and kind of get an idea for the size of everything. The dirt is down, and that took me much longer than I expected. I don't have any more dirt at all. I actually ran out of all of my regular dirt and coarse dirt. Actually, never mind. I have a little bit of dirt left, but I ran out of coarse dirt completely. So I kind of left these weird little patterns so I could just fill it in whenever I get more. I'm also out of gravel, so I'm going to have to gather up a lot of that, a lot of stone for stone bricks, andesite, and tuff as well, so I can finish the rest of this. It's not going to go all the way over there. I think I'm probably going to build up that landscape a little bit so I can connect it to here, just because the animal pen over there is kind of low. So I think I'll probably just follow the natural curve of the land downwards. I kind of left this as an abrupt end just because I wasn't really sure what to do with it. But I think I'll probably just connect it to the landscape and then have it slope down so I can have some more paths and farms and animals and whatever else we need. But I think for now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try add in a couple of the other little things that I need, especially in this area right here. What I was thinking of doing is having, I also need to light up underneath here. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I know there's a lot of mobs spawning down there, but I don't have any coal for torches, so that's a problem for later. Over here, what I want to do is I want to build like a covered canopy kind of, just like a bit of a warehouse where there's, storage supplies, crates, barrels, maybe even a couple of like the hulls of ships that are being worked on, just to kind of keep them out of the rain. It's kind of like a big tent, maybe a couple of little market stalls around here as well, just to add a little bit of life, kind of like we did in the village over there. You can't see, but there's little like colored like canopies, like little stalls, and I have a lot of colored wool going in the sheep farm, so hopefully we can use all of that for something here. I really need to figure out lighting down here. I don't have enough coal. I need to go mining so I can get enough of that. Have what we're gonna need to start building the warehouse. I know what I want to build. It's gonna be like 3 smaller, I guess, like sheds or warehouses, and then there's going to be a larger canopy coming off of this side with some storage and everything, and then on this side we'll probably have another covered area where we can have like logs and chests and barrels. I'm just gonna start trying to lay something out and start building something here. I'm gonna do something like this for the layout. And it looks a little bit weird now, but the reason that I did it like this is so that they're staggered. So it's gonna look a little bit funny at first, I think, but I think it's gonna look pretty cool. This is what the front is gonna look like. This is what it looks like with the backside in, and then also with the walls. I'm deciding to go with a polished tuff just to add a bit more texture and some darker colors into the build. And then I'll add in more stone. Unfortunately, I ran out, so we'll fix that up when we get the resources for it. But now I'm going to use spruce for a trim, and then I think I'm actually going to do jungle wood. I don't know if I have enough, though. I really wanted to use mud bricks because I really liked how those looked, like the color scheme-wise, but I just don't have any mud, and I have no idea where a mangrove swamp is, but we've explored a lot. We still haven't found one, so probably nowhere close. Worst case scenario, I will just use either copper or deep slate, and we'll call it a day, and we'll swap it out with something else later on. Part of the roof is complete. The outline of the roof is in, and I'm really liking how this is looking, and I think I'm going to have to use something else, to be honest. I'm probably going to have to use copper. I did the math. I'm going to need just under 4 stacks of stairs to fill in this whole roof. I have 1 stack of jungle stairs, and unfortunately, I don't know where my jungle saplings are. I don't know if I planted them all and then didn't get any more. I really don't know what happened, but I don't have a way to get more jungle wood until I go to the jungle, and I'm not patient enough for that. So we're probably just going to use copper, or maybe I'll use cobble deep slate. I honestly don't know. I'm just going to use deep slate. Deep slate stairs. They just look right. It fits with other things that we've done. Um, yeah, I know it's kind of a dark color for the harbor, but I just kind of like how they look. It goes really well with the spruce. And mixes well with the other things that we've built. And it gives me time to actually go and gather more materials that I need. Because I do really want to get mud and also just regular bricks. I really would like to build with some of that. I'm kind of been building mostly with deep slate. And that's really just because that's the only thing that I have in abundance, unfortunately. So I'm going to finish up this roof and then we'll see how it looks like as a finished product. The roof is completely finished, and then we also added some doors, just some big regular style doors, and then this one of course is swinging open so that you can actually access the warehouse. This is kind of going to be a place where all the incoming like stock from the ships that are docking here in our harbor are going to just kind of unload. This is where it'll all be stored to keep it out from the weather and the rain and everything. So my idea for inside here is I know it looks kind of ugly still. We'll fix that up and make it look a little bit nicer, trust me. But in here is just going to be boxes, crates, chests, that kind of thing. Not really used for actual storage purposes, but what I was thinking is I don't think I can actually fit any farms in here. What I do want to do though is I kind of want to have it as like an access point to underneath this harbor, which isn't going to be like designed or anything, but I think underneath here I'm going to stick just a whole bunch of redstone farms, because I've really been trying to make things look nice, but also try to have them be functional as well. And it's getting to the point where I do just I am going to need things like sugarcane in just large quantities. Things like, I don't know, I guess there's a farm for pretty much everything at this stage of the game, but this is probably going to be where I hide that kind of stuff, just because I don't want to have to build an individual like house or building over every single farm, because that's going to kind of be a little bit time consuming and very, very tiring and probably quite boring. So I'm probably going to stick most of it under here, but this is probably how we're going to get in there so I don't have to, swim through there and use the funky little under trapdoor or whatever. So maybe we'll have like a ladder or a trapdoor in here. Maybe I'll be able to fit some smaller farms in here, like a flower farm or something, but I don't really know. For the meantime, I'll probably just try and decorate the inside of this, and then I still have all these materials that I want to use to create a canopy on this side here. I want to build the canopy on this side over here, and I set aside a little bit of space here so I can kind of prop it up, but I want to start over here, and I'm going to start on the outside with acacia just because that's the one that I have more of. I just want to have a alternating pattern, and then we'll bring this down by one, like that, and we'll meet up there, and we can just, oh, that's not right. Then we can just run this along here, connect all this up, like so, and we'll have a nice little colored overhang. I wanted to use wool originally, but I just don't love using the full blocks like that. If you could make wool slabs, that would be awesome, but unfortunately you can't, and so we are stuck with the slabs just because that gives us a little bit more range to play with these angles. I quite like that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like a slight droop, a slight dip, if you know what I mean, on the inside just to look like it's sagging, because if this was canvas, it would be drooping down a little bit. So let's see if I can't do that. Yep, now our overhang or canopy, whatever you want to call it, canvas little tent bit has a little bit more of a sag, so that looks a little bit more natural. I'm not great at these kind of things, but I didn't really want to get too much into the literal physics of it because I don't really know. Ow! I don't know how a procedurally generated canopy would sag. Like I don't know how that would hang. I guess if I added more support beams, like in the middle, it wouldn't do that. But I'm not gonna get too hung up on the technicalities of it. I think it looks nice, and so that's what we're gonna stick with. I'm gonna add just a couple more supports there to make it look a little bit nicer, and then under here we'll add some other, as you might have guessed, barrels, logs, chests, and whatever other crates are coming in from the ships. Where did you come from? You don't pay rent. Evicted. There we go. Nothing else spawned. Okay, I really need to get some torches. It's going to become an actual problem very, very soon. It's already an actual problem. I don't even want to know what's underneath there. I think for now, this is this is pretty nice. I really like this. Now I just need to get my hands on a ridiculous number of barrels, chests, logs, and crates, which I don't really know how I'm going to do that because I barely have any wood. Decorating materials as well as a ton of torches, so that should make it a little bit better. I already lit up inside. I'm just going to toss a couple of, not those, these. I'm gonna toss a couple of these all over the place just to... Oh! I don't know why that scared me actually a lot. Aw, my canopy. All fixed. Alright, did a little bit of chaos decorating. I just kind of threw down a whole bunch of stuff, to be honest. Not really any rhyme or reason to anything. I have pots, logs, barrels, scaffolding, just as little tables. I got piles of rubble and stone. A random bee house that I found. I might actually take that back if I need it. Chests, there's nothing in any of these, but maybe I'll put something in them if I really need it. I don't think I'm gonna need this extra storage. In here, I'll probably just clean up the walls a little bit. Honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna do inside here just yet. I may just leave it blank until I think of something to do. The inside of the warehouse is no longer an ugly, wall-less mess, and I genuinely have no idea what kind of thing I should build inside here. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know in the comments down below so I can get your guys' opinions and feedback, as well as also make sure to leave a name for our friend the turtle who we found randomly in the middle of our farm. I don't know where he came from. I don't know how he's there. Either way, he's ours now and we need a name for him. But with that, I think I'm going to end the video here. Had a lot of fun recording this. Sorry it took so long to get this one out. School, sickness, life, everything kind of just happens all at the same time everywhere, everything everywhere all at once kind of deal. But yeah, this was very fun. I'm looking forward to working on the rest of this project. It took me actually quite some time to get all this done. So if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and leaving a comment down below to show your support. And with that, I will see you guys in the next episode.